What's going on, guys? Welcome to Total Football, where we discuss everything football. And obviously, man, I'm sponsored by the One Football app. Make sure you go down to the description, download the app for all your up-to-date football news. You already know the drill. All right, and we're gonna get straight into it. Actually, fuck it. Yo, Emery's just been sacked, innit? I'm sure you lot know that by now, because I'm sure you're active on Twitter. But yeah, man, like good evening, yeah. It's good night, fam. Do you get me? So it's all a bit mad. For all the banter man were getting, Arsenal sacked their manager before us. I never saw that coming. I cannot even lie. So, boy, that's a talking point. I'd have to say the sacking was well deserved, but his win percentage was nearly 50% and a lot better than Ollie's. So I think that Ollie's next. And I have reason to believe that Ollie's job isn't as safe as people may think. So fingers crossed man's out of here soon. All right. The first one, at safe5044. It says, what do you think about people saying that Ronaldo was at his best at United, as his all-round game was amazing and he could dribble effectively and do different skills compared to his days after he left the club, where he could still do these things but became more of a goal scorer? I said something similar, but I wouldn't say Ronaldo was at his best at United. I think Ronaldo was at his best maybe the first couple seasons after he left us. I think that Ronaldo, the season before he left Manchester United, was awesome. His first few seasons at Real Madrid, he was awesome. And then his game changed and he started to play more within the width of the goal. And you started to see it. His all-round game diminished. Ronaldo wasn't beating players anymore, going past them, giving us the fancy footwork that we enjoyed so much. Like, Ronaldo changed his game so long ago that people actually forget how sick a dribbler Ronaldo was. Like, I almost forgot, to be completely honest. It's only when I went back and started looking at old videos and I used to see the way he used to twist man up. And you could say that Ronaldo refined his game to be a more effective. It was less aesthetically pleasing, but it was more effective. It was less entertaining. And he just became like, I wouldn't quite say a poacher, because Ronaldo did score other types of goals other than like your back post tap-ins and your headers. But the majority of Ronaldo's goals started to just come from inside the box. So without a shadow of a doubt, I think his all-round game was definitely better earlier on in his career. And then it just became about goals, innit? It just became about the spreadsheet. It became about the numbers, the stats. And that's fine. That's completely fine, innit? Like, it's not done his job, I mean his legacy, any harm. This guy is going to go down as one of the greatest footballers ever. And in terms of numbers, he'll be arguably one of the greatest ever. Like, you won't even be able to deny, man, innit? And that's why when they done the Messi-Ronaldo debate for me, and I said Messi's the better player, because I just believe that Messi's all-round game is just miles ahead of Ronaldo's, and man are really seeing that now. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldo was scoring within the width of the box. Messi's reinvented himself again and he's playing even deeper. And Messi can do that. He can drop deeper and deeper and deeper because his football technical ability and football IQ is just way higher, bruv. Like, so he can do that, innit? But all in all, I would say earlier on in his career, I wouldn't go as far as saying at Manchester United we got the best Ronaldo, but I think we almost got peak Ronaldo at Manchester United. I think Real Madrid in the first few seasons still got the best Ronaldo. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Next one, at Bongrish _ again, I can't read the rest of your name. It says, the future of the England national team looks bright. It's only missing a Fabinho and a Pogba type player to win a major tournament. Do you know any English players that have qualities or might develop to the level of those two guys? To be honest, yeah, Fabinho and Paul Pogba are two like top class talents in those positions. So I think it wouldn't be fair to put that kind of pressure on a certain man, bruv. Like England, I doubt if England will ever produce a player of Paul Pogba's level. Paul Pogba is a fucking generational talent, bruv. And Fabinho, nah, I don't see in England producing that kind of player. I don't think that kind of player is really sexy in English football. It's not really attractive. Like, you don't really get DMs that are really thinking men. Like a lot of the time in England, you get like just kickers like your Scott Parkers, you know what I mean, etc., etc. Defensive midfielders tend to be more kickers, but I think Michael Carrick was the only exception that was like a deep lying midfielder that could play a little bit. But I don't know, bruv. Like it's mad. I tweeted today. I watched the F2 video with Declan Rice. Yeah, I never realized how techie this guy was. You know, he's extremely techie. And you know what's mad, yeah? Like, what people don't understand is a lot of the time, when you're at certain clubs that play a certain way, that's just your ceiling. That's your ceiling in terms of levels. Like, the better players you play around, the better you look. We're seeing it with Marcus Rashford. When Martial's there, or when Rashford's playing with better players, he looks better. And I think the same could be said for someone like Declan Rice. I don't think Declan Rice is going to be like Fabinho level, but I do think in terms of holding midfielders, he's next up for England. I don't think there's anyone anywhere near him or of that level. And in terms of being creative and being skillful and having a bit of flair, I think Phil Foden is fucking quality, man. You know what I mean? Obviously, like, he plays for the other side, but Phil Foden is a bad boy. I'm not saying that these men are ever going to be the level of these two players that you mentioned, because I don't think they will. However, I do think that England have players in that position that can kind of form enough of a balance that even though their overall quality is not of that level, I think that they can definitely improve what England have at the moment. So as far as that is concerned, I'd probably say those two. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Next one, at its_me_Abdi77. Where do you rank Robert Lewandowski on all-time greatest strikers? I don't have a list of all-time greatest strikers because it depends very much on what you like. There's different types of strikers in the game. Some people prefer more technical strikers like linkmen, or then there's out-and-out strikers, whatever. But in terms of pure number 9s, Lewandowski is the best striker in the world now and has been for quite a while, to be honest. Like, has been for quite a while. In terms of all time, apart from R9 and Thierry Henry, like all time strikers, I think it's touch and go for loads of different things. But in terms of like a proper number 9 in the box, finisher, hold the ball up, whatever. In terms of what I've seen play football, I think Louis has to be top 5. He has to be. Because he's raw. He's a proper raw striker. And you know what's mad? I was having a conversation about Karim Benzema the other day. And I was saying, you know the amount of top strikers that Karim Benzema has prevented getting a move from Real Madrid because he's that good, bruv. And the thing is, yeah, Karim Benzema is underrated because maybe he doesn't score loads of goals. But what he does do and how he brings players into the game, understand that like a prime Sergio Aguero probably gets a move to Real Madrid if there's no Benzema. A prime Falcao probably gets a move to Real Madrid if there's no Benzema. A prime Lewandowski probably gets a move to Real Madrid if there's no Benzema. 3 bad boy strikers, you know, like at the prime of their career. And Karim Benzema's been at Real Madrid so long that loads of top strikers just ain't got a game. Jovic came in thinking, right, it's going to be my time. Nah, hold bench, bruv. Like, so it's a bit of a mad one. I think Louis, like, he's as good as there is right now. And probably as good as there's been for quite some time. I couldn't give you a precise number, but I just wanted the man to know like how highly I rate him. Next one, at Mr. BHAFC. Do you think the Ballon d'Or is overrated? Players like Modric have won a Ballon d'Or, but yet Iniesta hasn't, despite scoring a winner in a World Cup final for Spain in 2010. What's your thoughts? I don't think the Ballon d'Or is overrated, but I think that the Ballon d'Or isn't always chosen. Well, the Ballon d'Or winner isn't always chosen, I would say, the best way, because the way the Ballon d'Or winner is selected differs depending on whether it's World Cup year or European Championship year or whatever, bruv. It's not consistent. You know what I mean? Because if you're in the winning team, in a European Championship or a World Cup, more times, you're probably going to win the Ballon d'Or that year. Like, it's mad. Like, I remember the year that Cannavaro won it. Obviously, Italy won a major tournament. But it's one of them ones where, did he deserve to win it? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? The Modric one was a strange one for me. I don't see how Modric can win. Like, I think he got to like a World Cup semi-final and won the league, won the Champions League. But for me, how the fuck do you win like a Ballon d'Or ahead of Ronaldo and Messi, bruv? Like, how do you do that? Like, how? How? Being Luka Modric. As good as Modric is, yeah, there's levels to football, innit? You're nowhere near that. I think Messi got bumped that year. But I just think the criteria that they choose, the winners of these competitions, they're not consistent. And because of that, I do think that the Ballon d'Or has lost a bit of its prestige and a bit of its credibility. But I wouldn't say that it's overrated. I think that the shortlist, 9 times out of 10, is pretty much spot on. But we'll see, innit? If Ronaldo is in the Ballon d'Or top 3 at the end of the season, then you know it's a joke thing, because Ronaldo ain't really done shit. Like, really, like, yeah, this season compared to what he used to do. Like, Ronaldo's not on bits no more. Like, you know what I mean? You've seen, like, there has been, like, a quite notable decline in Ronaldo's game. So, if he's in the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or, then you have to start thinking, yo, where these things coming from? But, yo, let me know in the comment section. At barbell_737. Yo, Rants, why do you think the old guard Pele Maradona, what do you think the old guard Pele Maradona's recent comments were recently cited taking shots to say Messi ain't as good as we deem him? Do you think we'll ever see such an elite rivalry as fierce as Messi and CR7 has been once they're all done? Hashtag total football. The whole Pele and Maradona thing, I don't really know, innit? Because some of the things that Pele says, like, kind of comes across like he's got dementia or something. So I don't want to make fun of him. Maradona is a sniffhead as well. So it's kind of like, I feel like Pele and Maradona are like that old man, that old boxer, yeah, that still thinks they got it and they can't let it go, innit? Like, it's the all in my dating. I think that these guys' egos won't allow them to acknowledge the level that Lionel Messi is at. And it's not just the level he's at, but also the level of consistency that he's shown. That hasn't been shown by Pele or Maradona. So I just don't even really know, especially with someone like Pele, who ain't never really played like in no big leagues, bruv. Like, man was playing in America, and he played in Brazil, and I'm not disrespecting the teams he played for, whatever, but I'm just saying, like, there's levels in football, innit? Yeah, he done some good stuff at World Cups, but ultimately, like, it depends on who you play against in those tournaments, because as we've seen before, sometimes in major tournaments, the level's not very high. So, yeah, Pele was a brilliant footballer. Maradona was a brilliant footballer, but Messi's more complete than both of them. Both of them. Goals, assists, dribbles, the whole lot. Messi's just got it all, innit? And I think it comes down to a bit of sour grapes, to be fair. I think that because Messi hasn't won a World Cup with Brazil, Maradona will always hold that trump card. And Pele, he's very patriotic as well, so he likes to gas up like Brazilian players, and obviously the Brazil-Argentina rivalry is real, so he'll always downplay Argentinian players anyway. He probably thinks that fucking Gabriel Jesus is better than Lionel Messi, bruv. Like, that's just how it is. So I really wouldn't pay no mind to what these men are chatting. And as far as the Messi-Ronaldo thing, I don't think so. I think the nearest thing we could possibly have to Messi and Ronaldo is if Neymar or Mbappe leave, then I think that them man could honestly be the next rivalry, because I think those are the only two players anywhere near that level in football right now consistently. So yeah, but I just don't think so. I think because even the age gap between Mbappe and Neymar's a bit too wide. It's just a bit too wide. The whole Ronaldo Messi couple years apart, coming through and just doing things like side by side. I don't think we'll ever see a rivalry like that that's pushing each other to those levels. I think that that's the last of it. I think that we're going to start to see loads of world-class players now, not really like the elite level above that. I think we'll see loads of world-class players all kind of be around the same level. We'll see the Ballon d'Or changing hands like every year, every other year, like how it used to in the old days. When I first started taking it in like the early 2000s, when like you'd get the Kakas, the Zidans, the Ronaldinhos, all them man were just there or thereabouts of each other, and they were kind of just, like, you have it, no, you have it, no, you have it. It depends on what your club does in the Champions League, what you do in the World Cup, whatever. I think it's going to go back to those times. I don't think there's going to be another monopoly like that. Let me know what you think in the comment section regarding those. Okie doke. Next one. At Tight Michael. The Premier League is the most competitive, but do you think it's the best league in the world? It depends on what you call best. In terms of entertainment, I think it is. I think it's the most exciting to watch. I think that football in other countries are a bit too ponderous, a bit too slow. But is it the best in terms of technically? I don't think so. Well, not even that I don't think so. I know it's not. Do you know what I mean? I think when you look at other leagues like Spain, Germany, even in Italy, I think the players are just technically better from top to bottom. However, they're just not that exciting to watch. So yeah, it depends on what you mean by best though. If technically in terms of talent, probably not the best. Do you know what I mean? Probably not the best. I think like a player that's at Sheffield United or something, probably not as good as in like football wise IQ technically as like a player that's at like a Fiorentina or something like that. However, I think that it's the best in the world in terms of entertainment value, competitiveness, and just how difficult it is to adapt. Like, I believe if you could play in the Premier League, then you could play in any league in the world. And the same can't be said for any other league. You can't say, right, if you could play in Germany, you could play in England. Or if you could play in France, you could play in England. If you could play in Spain, you could play in England. Because we've all seen that that's not always the case. However, I think that playing in England translates better to playing everywhere else. I think that Ronaldo, had he not gone to Manchester United after Sporting Lisbon, I don't think he becomes the player that he ultimately became and did what he done in Spain. The physical side of his game made him change his body, change his attitude. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything was just different. Like, if, say, Ronaldo went to Inter Milan from Sporting Lisbon instead of Manchester United, do I still think that he would have become the same player? I don't. I really don't. So I would say that the Premier League is the best only if that's how you want to interpret the best. Let me know what you think in the comment section. At JZ_Styles05. Who's your top 3 favourite England players of all time and why? Favourite in terms of ability has to be... It's hard, man. I don't really love English players like that. So it's kind of hard. Can't even lie, bro. Favourite, if it means like favourite as in I like them as a person, or if I like them as a player, I'm not really sure. It would number 1 would be Scholesy, even though he didn't get as many caps as he should have. Who else was I like buzzing to watch in an England shirt? Not many, man, bruv, to be honest. Probably Ian Wright, even though he didn't get as many caps as he should have as well, because I just liked Wrighty. I just thought he was a cold finisher. I liked his personality, everything about him. And I don't really know, bruv. From today's crop of players, there's just not really no one. There's not no one that really gasses me. I remember as well, maybe Michael Owen as well, because I remember when Michael Owen first came through, like I was on Michael Owen. I thought, yo, this guy's cold, innit? So probably Righty, Owen, and Scholesy. And obviously there is like a forward bias because I used to play up front, so I do like strikers, innit? Let me know your top 3 favourite England players. And I would say obviously of my generation and time from watching football. Because like in the early 90s and that, like I thought England's team was kind of shit, bro. They weren't really knowing that gassed me. Like I didn't watch enough of Paul Gascoigne for me to throw him in there. Like I know he's my kind of player technically, but I didn't see many 90-minute games of Gazza because I'm too young. And I think Joe Cole had his moments. Like Joe Cole would have been my kind of player, but I don't think that Joe Cole hit the heights that his talent meant that he could have for whatever reason. This just says Greenwood FC. How big is the Ronaldo decline? Is it being over-exaggerated or is it just bad form? No, I think Ronaldo's decline has been rapid still, but the thing is with Ronaldo, and this is a conversation I was having in my group chat actually. This is gonna go off on a tangent a little bit about Haaland at Salzburg. I think Ronaldo has been declining for some time, but because Real Madrid and Juventus have they were tailoring their game around getting Ronaldo on the ball in crucial areas, he was masking the decline in his overall performances with just scoring goals. Because he's a big game player, he's got an amazing temperament about him. But now I just think because Sarri ball, is bigger than Ronaldo. Like Sarri's all about his system, innit? He's not about one player. So because of that, I think that Ronaldo's inability to adapt to the system has made it that he's not indispensable no more. You're seeing Sarri take him off and bring on other players like Dybala, and they're having a bigger impact because I just think it comes down to systems. And this system is exposing the fact that Ronaldo has lost half a yard or maybe a whole yard. It's exposing the fact that he's probably not as versatile as he used to be because he don't have the legs to maybe play out wide anymore. So, yeah, I just think that's all it is. But I think the decline has been pretty constant. But I think that the new system, the new manager is definitely exacerbating that. And it's making it a bit more obvious. But that's all I really think it is. And what I was saying about Haaland was that he's bagging goals at Salzburg. We've seen many times in football where loads of young players have been touted to go on and do amazing things because they're doing well at a smaller club. And it just doesn't materialize that they kick on and have that kind of impact. And I'm almost at the stage now where I just don't get carried away no more because a lot of people, like, they thrive off being a big fish in the small pond, and then when they go to a bigger pond, they don't fancy it. Like, I remember Ricardo Quaresma, like, I thought he was going to be an absolute world beater. Then he went to Barcelona and it just died, bruv, and his career suffered because of that. Like, with Haaland is kind of like, and that's only one example, but with Haaland, I would love to see like him play at a team where he's not the main man and see how he gets on. Because my friend was like, oh, they play a fluid system, they don't play for him, which is nonsense. Like, you can play a fluid system but still play for a player. Playing for a player just means that you want to try and get this player on the ball in certain situations. Whenever you get the ball, you're looking for him because you can acknowledge that, yo, he's our main guy, he's our main threat, let's try and get him on the ball. If he does come to, say, like a Manchester United, because then he was saying, yeah, we have to get him, I'm like, well, cool, that means that displaces Martial straight away because you're going to have to play Haaland down the middle. So that means you off-balance the whole front line just for one player. Why would you do that? It don't really make sense to me. Because then what, do you move Martial back to the left, Rashford to the right? Then all of a sudden, it's unbalanced because Rashford don't want to play on the right. Or what do? Do you sell Martial, who you just gave the number 9 and just gave a new deal? I think that it causes more problems than it solves. I think the sensible thing would just be to bring in a Jadon Sancho on the right-hand side. Leave Martial down the middle where he is. Leave Rashford where he is. More harmony. You'll get more goals. You'll get more creativity. Like, I think that Haaland, even though he's got an amazing Champions League record, I'm not completely sold on that. Because he looks like a very good goal scorer, but his all-around game, yeah, isn't amazing. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's exactly like a Lukaku thing, because Lukaku bangs goals and Haaland bangs goals. But I think that is quite similar in a sense that these men are just goal scorers. If you get them the ball in and around the goal, they will just score in it. That's it. But I think that it comes down to systems and the attitude of teams. And I just feel like Juventus aren't playing for Ronaldo anymore. They're playing Sarri ball, blood. So they're just playing the way they want to play. And Ronnie's not really fitting in. That's all I think it is. So that's where I drew the comparisons, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But never underestimate the power of a system, because it can make or break certain players. We've seen it many times. All right, last few. At, I don't know what that says. It says Sai Korshik. Who do you think should have won the Golden Boy Award, Sancho or Felix? Well, not Felix, innit? Like, Joao Felix, for me, yeah, he's got amazing PR, bruv. He's got amazing PR because, yeah, he's exciting and that, but for me, he ain't really done shit, bruv. Like, he ain't really done nothing. And, like, again, in my group chat, man was saying, oh, Felix is the future and that. We'll see, yeah, when Ronaldo leaves and the pressure's on him to deliver, just how good this kid is. Because right now, I'm seeing a lot of hype and I ain't seeing numbers on the board, innit? Fair enough, he's not a goal scorer per se, but he's a creator. I don't think he's creating much, blood. I just think it just looks wavy, innit? Because he's mad flary and that. That ain't even a word, but man just saying it anyway because it is what it is. He's just mad flary and it looks good. He looks like a little Kaka clone, you get me? So because of that, all the gas is there, bruv. But Bernardo's still the main man, bruv. Bernardo Silva's the guy. And then Bruno Fernandes and that. I think that Felix is a long way off here where man already think he is. For me, I don't think that Felix is there yet or even near there yet. I think that he's a work in progress. So for me, like even when I saw him in the ESPN top 10 best attackers in Europe, ahead of Lewandowski, ahead of Sadio Mane, ahead of Raheem Sterling, I was like, yo, who does this use PR, fam? Like, it's a bit mad, like, do you know what I mean? So the whole Felix thing, I'm not buying it yet. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pretend that I watch this guy every week because I don't. Do you know what I mean? But the full games that I have seen him play, I've looked at him and said, yeah, he's got something. But I haven't looked at him and said, yo, this kid is an absolute worldie, bruv. Like, I haven't. A man called him a tropical Leon Osman, yeah, on Twitter, but I was just trolling, innit? I throw things out there sometimes just to troll. So don't pay that no mind. But I think that Sancho's ahead of him. I think Sancho's better than him. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And last but not least, it says _ TK Nakati. It says, what's your opinion on Frank Lampard? I don't know what that is. I don't know if you mean as a manager or as a footballer. So I'm just going to say as a footballer, I think Frank Lampard is one of the most intelligent footballers I've ever seen, innit? Like, what he lacked in physical ability and physical attributes and ability, he made up with football IQ, bruv. Like, when you get a player that don't have pace, isn't particularly amazing on the ball, Lampard couldn't really dribble. His range of passing was all right, but it was nothing to shout home about. He didn't have the explosiveness or the power of a Steven Gerrard. But this guy scored goals, bruv. He scored a lot of goals and he was very influential and he scored a lot of important goals as well, man. And he had a good penalty record as well, which shows that his temperament was very good as well, bruv. He held his nerve. Like, I don't remember seeing Lampard miss many penalties. So all in all, I just think that the intangibles of football, the IQ, the calmness, the mental strength, all of those, he had those in abundance. And I think he's showing as a manager now that he's taken across the IQ that got him through the game pretty much at the top level for most of his career. He's carried that into football, and he's doing a stellar job at Chelsea. So I think that I can see why Chelsea fans love Frank Lampard, and they think that he was better than Gerrard and Scholes, because there's nothing not to love about Frank Lampard. Like, when I watch his press conferences, you can't hate the guy, innit? Like, he's just a cool guy. So, like, I can see why the Chelsea fans love him. I think he was a brilliant advocate of just the sport, bruv. Like, he looked after himself. He played for quite a long time, and he made up with his physical, I wouldn't say deficiencies, because it's genetics. You can't choose that. But he made up for the lack of physicality with, like, elite level football IQ, movement, timing. And yeah, Lampard was a brilliant player. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I don't really want to see Scholes was better or Gerrard was better, bruv, because it's about Lampard, innit? Like, what do you think about Lampard as a player? I wouldn't say he was underrated, because he's rated very highly, like even higher than maybe a Scholes, when I don't believe that he belonged there. However, like, let me know what you think of Frank. Bad boy baller. Okay, and that was your total football today, guys. Love the questions. Keep them coming. We're sponsored by the One Football app, so make sure you head down to the description, download the app for all your up-to-date football news. And as usual, got the fresh drip. Do you know what I mean? You got a discount code in the description also, man. Use man like Rants at the checkout to get your discount, and that's an ongoing discount that I've got for you lot. I had the Black Friday discount before, that's gone now, but this is my brand. This is my constant discount code that I'll have for you. So yeah, enjoy that, and we'll be back with a Rants Red Talk tomorrow. Peace.